Hi guys, Bran here, and welcome to another commentary video. This one's probably gonna be a little bit more of a rant because something's been on my mind lately when it comes to content creation. I have found myself when it comes to specifically logging into my YouTube, looking at the comments, making commentary videos like I am doing right now, like doing that sort of thing. I've kind of like not really looked forward to it as of recent, and the reason for that kind of comes down to a big DBD community problem that just kind of like incredibly irritates me, and it really makes me unfortunately kind of just like hesitant and unenthused to come on and read YouTube comments to get involved with the community in general, because it's just kind of like, for lack of a better term that you've probably heard plenty of times before, kind of just a cesspool of just hypocrisy and frustration and people just not outright making any sense, people being entitled, etc. So instead of ranting about it, to make it a little bit more concise, let me, get to the point here, is that I feel like the DBD community has just such a huge problem with hypocrisy. I think that's the big word I would use here, is that there's a big problem with hypocrisy. And so the reason this came about is because I released 2 videos last week that I got very, very polarizing responses to. And realistically, if people were paying attention, they should have been the same, but they were very, very polarizing responses. The first video was the why does behavior never nerf Gen Rush kind of video. And that video was talking about how like prove hyper focus and those sort of perks remained unchanged and usually do remain unchanged. Usually you see a lot of slowdowns being looked at to be changed and adjusted in terms of their numbers, in terms of their strength, but usually hyper focus and prove are just kind of like left out of that and not looked at, and patch by patch goes by, or they don't get looked at. And that's just the truth. There's no take there. That's just, it's weird that they, look at one thing but not the other. And there is a logic behind that as to why somebody may want them adjusted, is because prove thyself, especially, hyperfocus, at least you got to hit great skill checks, but you can kind of circumvent that by using stakeout. But prove thyself especially, you literally just hop on a gen with the same person, which is one button, and suddenly you're getting tons and tons and tons of value for basically doing nothing. Standing there and hitting one button. Standing there and hitting one button is allowing you to do the gen quicker than you should be able to. Remember that. Standing there and hitting one button is giving you all this value. So I made that video, and a lot of people that, obviously probably my more killer main side audience was like, yeah, that is really dumb. Like, why do they just get to get extra progress for literally a single button, and that doesn't get looked at after, slowdown after slowdown gets adjusted? Reasonable questions to ask. But, obviously on I had some people that probably play Survivor more who were like, why, you're going to take everything from Survivor? They've already nerfed Survivor so much, those people. But most of it was the killer, my killer part of my community kind of like agreeing with that. So I released a video, a DOS Food React, last week as well, and that's covering healthy grabs, specifically off of Hook, because both DOS Food and I agree, and Ots as well, because that's what started this whole, this think tank, was that while stealth killers, it's great to have a resource like full health grabs, because, they're kind of the weaker characters in the game, and also like, vault grabs so that survivors can't spam endurance or cheese endurance going across them. Full health grabs off of Hook kind of really don't make sense, because if a killer is just face camping, once again, bringing it full circle, it is kind of just rewarding the killer for standing still and hitting one button. Now, where have we heard of this before? It's almost like the video that I put out a few days before that, where I was talking about, hey, standing still and hitting one button and being heavily rewarded, it's kind of bullshit. We shouldn't have that in the video game. And a bunch of killer mains said, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. We go over 3 or 4 days later, and I'm talking about the same subject, which is one button should not do that much, except now it's on the killer side, and everybody's like, what? Bro, yikes, like, what is going on? I don't know how you could think this. And it's like, this is the same concept. This is the same philosophy. The whole DBD community has zero sense of philosophy when it comes to balancing the game or things that they want changed in the game. Because my head always goes, I have philosophies. I'm like, hey, one button doing a lot with like 0 skill input, those things in the game should not be strong in general because they inherently require 0 skill. But evidently that's just not how the DBD community thinks. Apparently the DBD community is like exclusively interested in having things that are easy for their own side and just ignoring everything else. It's just bitching, it's just complaining, and they'll never side with anybody who doesn't tell them every little thing they want to hear. Like, I could come out and say in the Gen Rush video, like, hey, pressing one button and getting a lot of value is kind of silly, and they'll toot my horn all day. But as soon as I go for the killer side of things and go, hey, things that you do that only require one button that can change a whole game, I don't know if that should still be in the game either. It's not like you just, you know, everybody loses their minds. And it's like, if you just had a sense of philosophy, like a consistent, it's not even like philosophy, it's just like being consistent with your takes, being consistent with your thoughts and your values, that is all I'm asking. I say philosophy to make it sound like some big smart thing, but realistically, it's just being consistent and not going back on your word. It's that fucking simple. But like, for some reason, when it comes to the DBD community, they don't think about what comes out of their mouth. They just get frustrated in the moment and just like, immediately like, I want that changed. So I go, oh, okay, you want that changed? Well, this other thing over here is very, very similar if we're using that philosophy, so we should probably change that too. And they're like, no, that's on my side. You shouldn't change that. And it's like, it feels like everybody's just full of shit. You know what I'm saying? Does anybody else feel that? Does it feel like everybody you fucking talk to in this game, like literally nobody has any goddamn clue what they're talking about? Like I feel like I feel like I'm losing my mind here. Like it feels like every single I don't talk to people in this game the same as I used to. Like when I was a young springy, like brand new DBD player on the scene, I was a killer man and I was like, rah, 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 I was learning everything. I was like, I really have and enjoy a lot of conversations about this game and with this game, especially when it came to balance. But it feels like nowadays I just look at everybody just like very suspectly. Like everybody is sus. Like everybody is sus. Does this person really think one button value is bad, or are they just pitching for their side? Are they batting for their side? They're just like, yeah, I agree with that for killer, but not for survivor. It's like, it feels like everybody is so biased and has no consistency to their thoughts, and they're just all just like frantically yelling and screaming all the fucking time. Like it feels like nobody has any clue what they really want for the game, and they're just all trying to like bend the game to benefit them specifically. And I know that's not true of everyone. I know that's not true of everybody. Obviously, a lot of you are here because you understand that like, we try to create consistent thoughts and consistent takes and consistent, philosophies when it comes to the game. And not go back on our word on certain things. And even if like something happens, we go, hey, we were wrong about this and we changed our minds. We don't just throw shit at the wall and whenever anything goes wrong and just try to bend the whole game to what we need. If you say one button should not change the course of the game, that should mean that one button should not change the course of the game. It doesn't mean one button should not change the course of the game. For me, it means in general. And if you want that for you and not for the other side, you're a hypocrite. You're an entitled, selfish little hypocrite if that's what you want. And it's just like, it just astounds me. It just astounds me. And I think it comes down to the fact that like DBD is one of those games where like you do have the option to just never play the other side. So really, you have no realistic incentive to really give a single shit about basically anything. Like basically anything that the other side has to deal with. If you don't play it, it's not your problem. Or if you only play killer 90% of the time and survivor 10% of the time, you certainly don't have to give a fuck about the survivor side. Even if you only play with your friends like once a month, you don't have to care at all about what happens on the survivor side of balance. You could just rally for killer things all day and just never have to worry. It's not like other games where like you swap sides. Like there's a lot of games have it to where you'll play attack, then you'll play defense, or you'll play like in DBD, to put it in DBD, if they played it this way, we would do the first round killer and then like the first round survivor and then a tiebreaker round, right? Like you don't have to play both sides in a match. You can only play one side, and you can only queue as one side if you really want to. You can only queue killer forever, or you can only queue survivor forever. So I think that leads to just this distinct lack of empathy. It also leads to this distinct lack of consistency among the thoughts and feelings that you put upon this game when you want to change balance. It's like, okay, well, I just want what's best for me because I never have to deal with the negative effects, the consequences. You don't have to deal with the consequences of the bad changes you put through because you were just pissed in the moment about some dumb fucking thing that you probably could have just outplayed or, probably just done something better about. Instead of talking about like serious stuff that should probably be looked at and probably be changed. But no, you're gonna have your bad take, you're gonna have your super biased take, and you're gonna shove it on the community, you're gonna shove it on the devs and pray the devs change it. When realistically, if you had just been more consistent with your thoughts, you would see like, oh, okay, well, I have this and they have that. Maybe both should be gone. Like, it's just like, unless you say every little thing that somebody wants to hear in this community, they just don't have the empathy there for you. And I think that's just so disappointing. It's so disappointing that unless you just like you milk somebody and intentionally tell them everything they want to hear, they don't want to listen to you, and they don't want to be empathetic to the other side. It's literally like, what is that one SpongeBob episode? It's literally like one SpongeBob episode where it's like, yeah, it's Man Ray and Patrick. It's like, okay, so I picked up your wallet, and it has your ID in here, and it has your picture on it, and on this ID is your name. So therefore it is your wallet. And he goes, it's not my wallet. It's like, okay, so one button, make it with prove thyself. Completing gens quicker makes you upset, right? Yeah, and this is all done with 0 skill because there's nothing inputting here. It's just getting on the gen with another person. Yep. So you think this is unskillful and it changes the game too much. Yep. Okay, so it's unfair. Yep. Okay, so what about base camping and getting full health grabs? Oh, that's fine. That's fair. It's like... I don't know, be people like down in the comments. They'll just be like, oh, they nerf killer all the time. You know what? Both sides say that they get nerfed all the time. If you literally think that your side's nerfed more, both of you guys fucking say this, and it's fucking annoying. My side's nerfed more. You're both nerfed more. You know why you both feel like you're nerfed more? Because both sides get nerfs. You are both being nerfed. And you're just like nitpicking at each other about who gets nerfed the most. Like, you're both getting nerfed. Stop pretending you're the most nerfed side, no matter which side you favor. Like, brother, get over yourself. Like, God. Yeah. Anyways, I feel like, I don't know, I just kind of want to get off on my chest because like I said at the beginning of this video, I was kind of like not looking forward to like interact with the community as much as I typically do because of something that was really irritating me about the community. I couldn't really pinpoint it, so it's nice to get this video out and just kind of like, you know, ventilate my feelings about how the DBD community is just very hypocritical, and they really don't have any consistent philosophy about how to adjust the game. They just whine and cry, which is probably, you know, stuff you already knew, but, you know, it's fun to watch somebody get uppity about it, right? So, yeah, I think I was going to call it there. Thank you so much for watching, friends. Thank you for letting me get it off my chest. What do you think? Do you think the DBD has a major hypocrisy problem, or what is the source of this issue? Let me know in the comments below. But that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. But I do upload daily, so I will see you tomorrow. But if I don't, I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye.